And here we go, we are live. Hello everybody and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year and wherever. And if you're watching on catch up later on, we hope it was a Merry Christmas and we hope the new year is being wonderful to you. So we'll just wait for a few people to join us. Tra-la-la-la-la. We're on a bit earlier tonight because of obviously New Year celebrations. But they've been put on hold a bit, haven't they? It's going to be quiet New Year celebrations.
Yes.
Yes, because we're all falling foul of exactly the same as everybody else is falling foul of. How wonderful. Never mind. There's a few people with us. Hello, hello, hello. Let's drop your names in and don't forget, we like questions. So get that on. So anyway, without further ado, here we have the lovely Jack Eckhart with his wonderful partner who is hiding off camera, giggling away, eating a banana. A lovely Lola who have been over here from Denmark for Christmas and tonight for the New Year. Do you know what? If somebody walks through that door now, I'm going to be out of that window. I always invite spirit in. I just suddenly thought, yeah, you can do something, can't you? But anyway, so Jack's here. Those of you who've not met Jack before, Jack is the president of the Danish Spiritual Association. And yeah, we have a lot of fun together. Anybody who watched our Christmas Eve service, yeah, big kids. It was great. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Welcome.
Such a pleasure to be here again.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're here again.
It's so surprising.
It's so good.
But it is.
So, yes, we've got some comments coming in from my screener. Eva, Happy New Year to you and happy birthday, Jan. Hope you're lots better. You look better in your photo. Hello, Jamie. All right. Jen, hello, Jim. Yep, good afternoon and happy New Year to you too, Jim. So lovely that people joining us. Thank you, as always. Very humbled by the amount of people come in and join us on these things. Sorry, I'm just moving my head around because of the lighting. It looks like I've got a Mohican, but I seriously haven't got a Mohican. Have I? Well,
no comments.
You haven't, so
It's many years ago.
Well, nicely introduced many years ago. Because we can talk about our bases, our footing, our foundation within spiritualism. It's 3 o'clock. There we go. Let's wind that clock up. So, yeah, talking about the importance of our foundations and our knowledge. Serena, hello, darling. Joanne, Susan, Margaret, how are you? Happy New Year. I hope we're not all drinking while you're watching this because it's very off, but never mind. Yeah, I'm sure we can have a glass.
We all have juice.
Yeah, we're on the vitamin C, trying desperately to clear the scourge.
So,
but yeah, Jack, I know we have spoken about this.
Yes.
But the importance of having that firm footing and understanding of spiritualism as a movement and in all its aspects. And even, you don't want everybody to have a full working knowledge of every facet about the movement, but we do encourage that they actually, everybody keeps learning, because the learning phase never stops. And this is something we were talking about as well. Some people sort of like, right, that's it, I'm a medium,
yes.
Ta-da, I'm there, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and I believe that's for our good selves, this long learning experience. Can't remember how long time you have been developing your mediumship. I have for about 30 years now, and it's occurs to me that it never stops.
Yeah,
it never stops. But what I think is important as well is it's not it never stops, but it's like it's not that it's been built taller and taller, but it's just been expanded in different areas. And if we look at it, it's like building a house. I'm sure we can all agree, building a house needs a good foundation and a cat in the house.
Yeah, every good house, you've got to have a cat.
Yes. And it's not my cat, and I actually don't like cats, but she's quite nice. But when we're building a house, we can all agree we'll start with building a solid foundation. We're not starting building the roof.
Yeah.
It makes things complicated if it does. I know there have been people trying that, but it's like we're building a solid foundation, we're building some good walls, then we put in the roofs on. And that's, if you look at it like building our mediumship that way. When we have built the house, we can build extensions to the house.
Yeah.
Sidewards, upwards.
Yeah.
But within the house, we have all the separate rooms, and the rooms we can decorate, we can change them, we can tear walls down, we can build up new walls over the years. And think of our development as building a house. Start with a good foundation that will give us a solid house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we can make changes, we can make extensions, we can make changes within it.
Yeah.
Of course, we can move into the house and say, "Oh, it's nice here," and never change anything. I think very few people actually does that. Sometimes we are moving to a new house.
Because that's one of the, and that's not the right phrase I've got in my mind. Excuse me, I'm a little bit thick today. That is one of the joys about our movement, that it encourages that individuality.
Yeah.
We have the fundamentals that we need to listen to and adhere to or not adhere to, whatever your persuasion. It's not written in heart that you must do this, but a lot of these lessons are from years and years and years of our practice when nobody likes being told what to do. And then you get to a stage of keep going, well, why does this keep going wrong?
Yeah. And if you're going back to the house, we all know a house needs maintenance.
Yeah.
Suddenly there will be a leak in the roof.
Yeah.
A window will break. A drain will need repair.
What did you do before you became a medium?
Oh, I was a builder.
Never again.
But I think to me it's like when I'm talking about mediumship and developing my own mediumship and with my students as well, as always says, I can't make any student a medium.
Yeah.
But what I can do, I can share my knowledge. I can kind of give them a toolbox.
Yeah.
I can give them a lot of different tools to put in the toolbox. I can give them some exercises to how to use the tools in the toolbox. What to do with them is up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
some tools work for them, some tools don't, but they will have them in the toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And I do like that. I can't make them a medium because sometimes I think when we go on courses and everything. So you've been on a day's workshop and you come out and go, right, well, I've done that. What's next? And when we have workshops here, I say to people, listen, today you're learning the skills to take on with and progress with, not, oh, I've done that, so what's next? You know, treat it like a tick list. Because it's one thing learning a methodology, but it's another thing experiencing the journey, because that's where the learning takes place to get to that goal. There'll be Fiona Thomas there. Fiona, Happy New Year to you, darling. And she's just asking there, she'd love to hear your views on occasions when the connection pauses and their presence is no longer felt, but the joy remains. So I take it, Fiona, that's you're talking about your evidential mediumship that you're saying then, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you have times when you're not making the connection as you have come to understand it, which is probably where we're going with this. And you feel it's so common on people's development pathways, I think. And I am aware Jack is a guest, so I should be letting him talk, but I'm on barrel roll now, so tough. It's quite often heard in our development. Don't forget, development is ongoing. Just because you're getting bookings for churches and centres and doing private sittings, that is no excuse to stop your development. Your development is ongoing. And often, especially in the early days of developing, people go, well, I've plateaued out. I've just reached this spot and nothing's happening now. Yeah. But there is things. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, and I believe that's that in whatever situation we are in, coming as a medium, if we're having in the middle of a message, suddenly we can feel like the communicator has gone, we have lost them. But I think we can. It's not like we are losing our communicator, things like that, or losing the communication. It's us as medium that's lagging. If I can use that expression. It's like when you have a computer signal coming in. I know from kids when they're playing their online games, talking about it's lagging, and it's like there is a gaps in the signal, and if we are reaching into one of those gaps, it will be like, oh, I'm lost here. What can we do about it? Repair the gap. Repair the gap. Go into the toolbox, find the right tool. But if we don't have the toolbox and tools, we can get a bit lost. We can get a bit lost.
And also to look at where we are and where we're working and how we're working and how we feel. Those of you who've been watching throughout the year, and you remember back about 6 or 7 months ago, I started on this theme about we're not looking after our mediums. Very easy saying, but there's a lot of context within that. You know, and I do know some mediums prefer one church or centre over another, and maybe got to look at how, you know, what's your reception like, how you're looked after. Are you there as a welcome guest, or are you there as a commodity? And also within ourselves. You know, we do tend to go, oh, Spirit will sort it out, or Spirit will look after that. But actually, you know, personal responsibility means that you have a hand in that. And if you're feeling, and especially like we have been over the last few weeks and a few weeks more to come, where everybody is ill. If you're not feeling brilliant, oh, but I can't let them down. Well, sorry, but yes, you can.
And it's I have to. Now you're talking about this, but Spirit will sort it out. No, I don't really believe that Spirit sort it out for us.
No,
we have to sort it out.
They will act.
Spirit will support us in sorting it out.
Exactly. We've got to make that decision of where we want to go with it. And once we stated that intent, then spirit will support us.
Definitely, yes.
And if they don't, maybe you want to go back and check back and tell.
Oh, yes.
So, Fiona, the short summarization for you. Look at the instances where this happens and then see where you can find that commonalities. Is it when you go out working? Is it only when you work in certain places? Is it all the time? And just try and, because it's back digging. The same with our evidential mediumship. We've got to keep dig.
Yeah.
Not just take the first thing that crops up. Just keep digging at it. Why is this? When
especially if it's a thing that is happening again and again. It's like, what is the circumstances?
Yeah.
What is the circumstances around it when it happens? It's a thing that a lead up to or things that happened before. It's things that happens in the moment. What is it that is having that impact to make that kind of disturbance? Yeah.
Yeah. So when we have times where things don't sort of like happen, but you have to really dig into it, and you also have to put your personality to one side sometimes, because we all do it. You know, we're all perfect, so it's not my fault.
No.
Well,
it's always his fault.
Yeah, I'll blame her. So there we go. It's going around the table. She blames him. So there we go. Thank you, Fiona, for that. Lovely Amory Hogan. Hello, darling. Kate Green. Sandra, you beautiful, beautiful lady. Oh, Tony Roberts. What do you want? Tony, working with spirit, you always want to work to a high level and higher level. So in Jack's case, he wants to be the master builder by learning and not just staying as, this is the house that Jack built. He comes, he comes from Cornwall.
Yeah.
So just go along with it. Just go,
yes.
Yes, Tony. Happy Christmas and New Year, Tony. Lovely Jamie Williamson. Get up there. Jack, I believe that all that we do in spiritualism is to support and facilitate spirit communication, whose aim is to inspire us to reach our true potential in this life. Furthermore, the philosophy that they share with us is to encourage us to be in touch with our higher self, the source of all the wisdom we need to progress spiritually. What do you think?
Oh, well,
I'll just say yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Jamie, I agree with you in the way that I also believe that all that we do in spiritualism should be to support and facilitate, to change the words a little bit. Because we have to think of, we were actually talking about this a little bit earlier. We all have our ego that kicks in sometimes, and whatever we have coming from spirit, philosophy, evidence, whatever. Sometimes I know for myself, I know it happens for Lawrence, and I know it happens for a lot of mediums. Sometimes my ego just comes in and says, oh, I know something about this. So Jack's ego is stepping in and start talking. And I think we have to accept that happens. That happens. And I'm a great believer in that if we are honest about these things happening, will make it easier for us as individuals to handle it in a proper way, in the benefits of spirit. But if we are just putting it all, it's all from spirit, we have to accept, I think, that it's not all from spirit. We are spirit as well. So so kind of from spirit. But when we're talking from spirit, we are often talking about it from discarnate spirit, and we have to accept sometimes, I think, that part of it, we will always be a part of it, because it will go, no matter what state of conscious we are in, if you're in trance, or whatever state we are in, the philosophy and the things that is coming is going through our brain.
Yeah.
We can't change that. So therefore, our brain will have some kind of impact on it.
Yeah, I agree totally there.
But what we can, being honest about that, being conscious about it, and being conscious about our ego and how we use our ego, we can actually allow ourselves. I always talk about we need to be in control of our mediumship, not in control of spirit, but in control of our mediumship.
Mm.
And with that said, with that control, when I'm in control, I can give control to spirit. I can give control to Lawrence. But as long as I'm controlled, I can take the control back. And that's gives me a safety as well to work with.
Yeah.
It gives me the comfort to relax. And that actually means that by me being so much control, that I can give away the control and have the faith I can take that back anytime I want it. I can let go of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a lot of waffling.
it's a bit of waffle.
Okay.
It's a bit of waffle with solid top and bottom.
Yeah.
A bit like a waffle sandwich.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
But yes, Jamie, I you know what I think of you with your mediumship. It's absolutely exemplary. And your philosophy is beautiful once you stop writing it down.
Yeah.
But that day will come, I know. But yeah, the message from Spirit is, there's a lot of working mediums in here. So thank you, all of you, each and every one. Never forget, every time we work with Spirit and bring through that evidence, we are performing a miracle.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yes.
We are giving that hope to the hopeless, a voice to the voiceless.
Yeah. And sometimes I think as mediums, I was just reminded of service we did in Denmark, one of the Christmas services. Sometimes we as mediums think, the evidential message is that's a message that is going straight into the individual.
Mm.
And Jamie, you mentioned the philosophy, and just remind me of a service we did in Denmark just before Christmas, where the address, the way the address came through, there was a lady in congregation that never have been to a service before, was a little bit scared of it. And she came to me afterwards and said to me, that address just got so deep into me and was all about my husband, the memories of my husband, and there was never brought any evidence of her husband, but the message for her was like it was coming directly, or the address for her was like it was coming directly from her husband.
Yeah.
And that was the word she used to me afterwards. And to me, that's like, I wasn't trying to force or bring a message through to the individual, but was just inspired of whatever was coming. I was aware of, I was inspired, but I wasn't aware of who. I wasn't thinking of bringing evidence for who is bringing this.
Yeah.
But it went so strong to that one individual.
Yeah. And that's the intelligence of Spirit. And that's something we often don't factor in.
It is. And that's opened her mind to actually being able to have a message. I can't remember who gave her that message later on in service, but it gave her that comfort that, maybe this isn't this scary. She had, I think it was her daughter next to her holding her hand because she was a little so she shouldn't run out of the door. So yeah, the philosophy can be so powerful, can be so strong, and it's so important.
Yeah, and as I say, our churches and centres, our biggest job, especially in these days, is to give hope to people.
Yeah.
You know, and we often miss that point. You know, we want to do that one message that's going to be awesome, or we want to do that communication that's going to really touch us up. And of course, we want that. But there are other ways of reaching people, you know, building communities within your churches so people come in and don't feel alone.
Yeah.
In the words of the philosophy, the inspiration to go out and live life out there now. And weeing down with rain as it stopped. Anyway, so yes, thank you, Jamie. Lovely Sandra. How are you, my darling? And she's commenting, I have my favourite churches and centres. I ran a centre and always made sure I created a nice energy for the visiting medium. Yeah, that's really interesting phrasing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandra. Sounds like we were just talking all morning. Well, we were actually, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough, that's what it sounds like it. But we were talking and just saying, you know, sometimes you can walk into somewhere and just, as I say, you feel welcome.
Yeah.
And, you know, as all the working mediums in the room will know exactly what I'm saying here. We don't want people to go, oh, Jack, thank you for coming, you know, oh, we are so humble. We don't want that, but actually just want common civility. Oh, hello, Jack, lovely to meet you. Lovely to brew. You know, do you want to sit somewhere quiet, go through and just creating that
just
welcome.
taking care of your needs, basically. It's
and Sandra, I love the way about the nice energy, because I've walked into some churches and thought, this is interesting. We had a committee meeting recently. Have we just wiped down the blood off of the walls from it? So Julie Caswell is out there and upsetting people in a flower shop, which is not helped by Mary Dixie encouraging her. So pack it in the pair review. Thank you. Where are we? Wayne. Do you think the mediumship needs to be more factual in the message for our own needs and gets in the way when you keep asking for facts? Should it be more about the message Spirit wants to say to the recipient? Got ya.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we need both.
Yeah.
I think we need both. To me personally, just giving a message from somebody in spirit, a medium saying, "Oh, I do have your daughter here, and she says she loves you." I can't take that message in. But if they are bringing strong, valid evidence, I have your daughter here. She's so and so, so and so, and she's coming to tell. Then I can take it in because I have the evidence to back up the message there. So I think it's a very fine balance. It's a very fine balance. And what I'm often talking about is to my students is when we are bringing forward the evidence, we are building as mediums. We are building a relationship with the communicator.
Yeah.
I said we should be in control of our mediumship, not in control of. We should be in control of our mediumship, not of the communicator. So allow the communicator to bring forward whatever they want and ask questions to what they are bringing forward. So it becomes a natural conversation. Not demand things. There's certain areas that, especially if we're working from a platform, there's certain things that worth looking for at the start, because that's we just know that there's certain informations that makes it clear faster to who the communicator are. Yeah. So there's certain areas we can look after things, but not necessarily the things Spirit is bringing forward. So let's Spirit bring that forward. But then for what Spirit is bringing, ask them questions to make those statements really strong and really clear.
Yeah.
just and if you can bring forward 3 or 4 very strong statements, very strong evidence, that can often be enough to make the recipient certain about who is the communicator.
Yeah.
And within those strong statements, this strong evidence often lays the message.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just going back and see, okay, what is the message within this evidence I already have been giving? Then we can start at what is evidence. Evidence can be quite individual. For some, it's a phone number. For us, it's a name. For us, it's again, it's a good memory. Others, the best evidence is how they passed or the color of the hair. Several times, you have probably as well. In Denmark, people tend to ask questions during messages, and one of the things you often hear, oh, can you see what hair color they have?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just think, I can't remember last time my natural response was, oh, don't you know her hair color? Because it's like,
have you forgotten?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, but saying that, actually, often the physical look,
yeah,
often we can't. Just a few years after they have passed, often we actually can't, especially us men, can't remember how they looked.
I agree there.
We can really be in doubt.
I love watching lady mediums work.
Yeah.
Because they bring in a whole new raft of evidence that isn't in our toolbox.
Yeah.
They're describing, they've got mules on, and I'm sat there going, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean a mule? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What the hell is that? But yeah.
And there is just things that's, but one thing we always can remember, how did they make us feel?
Yeah.
How did they make us feel? So, but again, evidence is very much an individual thing.
And
what's the best evidence for each and every one of us? That's
if we did a dual link, you would describe Lola in one way, and I would describe Lola in another way. We're talking about the same person, but we would have different conversations.
Yes.
So yes, Wayne. The beauty of spiritualism is that we can demonstrate that evidence. Where I think we need to probably tighten up our act a little bit is just getting that awareness over to people, saying, look at the glory, look at the majesty, look at the miracle that you've just had. Don't sit there being a dunce and going, well, he didn't say that she used to, I don't know, ride a motorbike or something like that. But did he describe her perfect? Oh yeah, all the description was right, but he left out the motorbike. Well, do you know what? That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and just to add to it, the different kinds of evidence. We have the factual evidence. We all know about that. But we also have the emotional evidence. We have the spiritual evidence. We have all these different kind of evidence. So yeah,
definitely. Chris, how are you? It's ages since we've heard from you. How are you, sir? It's all good at your place. Chris is saying, I have noticed recently we have some mediums who are attending our churches and are wanting the recognition for themselves and not for the spirit world. I have always trained my student it is not about ego and we should enjoy our experience of working with the spirit world. We should always have an open mind. It shouldn't matter if we have a bad night or a good night working with spirit. It is our job to be the messenger to the recipient, and hopefully we help the recipient and give them and you've run out of room there. But anyway, so yes, Chris, sadly we do have this energy sneaking in about us mediums having to be entertainers, and I find that quite disturbing. We can be entertaining in the way that we work, I don't know if you've noticed, I seem to have a slight sense of humour, which now and then pops out.
Yeah.
But I don't go up there, with my lines all ready to crack them up. There is this. It's a grey area sneaking into our movement, and I'm really not comfortable with it. Because you are getting like the vaudeville acts going up there, and I've seen people, F and Jeff, and a certain class, I'm going to sound awful snob here, but a certain class of the audience, because these were in halls and social clubs, so laughing their heads off, and I'm just sat there thinking, okay,
yeah,
we'll be booking that one.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with mediumship or philosophy for that. I say nothing wrong with it being entertaining.
Yeah.
But it should be entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a fine line. It's a fine line.
It is. I know here through chairing the services, I enjoy that little bit of levity coming into service, because again, you come into church to get hope and not to be spoken at like you're in an Orthodox church. Brought into the proceedings.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we should think about as well that bringing that laughter, bringing that joy. We are connecting spirits here.
Yeah.
Meeting old friends, old family. Should be a joy.
Yeah.
It should be a joy.
And
it shouldn't be a misery.
Yeah. Sometimes
there's some really heavy messages come through that can be relations that people really don't want to hear from.
I don't want to hear from him, or he wants to say something to you.
Yes, so. Yeah. So, but it's not always joyful. But when we are gathering, there should be some joy. There should be some happiness within it.
Yeah, of course there is.
It should be entertaining. It should be uplifting.
What greater joy, than we've lost somebody here in the physical, and to hear from them and understand that they are a functioning being, albeit in a different dimension, that they are thinking, they are capable of movement, of thought, of action, reaction. Sorry, in the list of miracles, what beats that? I don't get it. Susan! She's lovely, we like to.
Yes.
Susan's coming here.
Yes.
Yeah. We've even convinced the local airline to put flights on now between Bournemouth Airport and Dublin, just for you, Susan. See how far we go, Paul? Anyway, not all spiritualists are mediums. It is through their acts of kindness and understanding of life that brings spirituality to be present. Is there too much thought on mediums as opposed to the movement as a whole? Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense.
Very much, yes.
Absolutely.
I believe sometimes the mediums is getting too much attention. To be honest, now you're running a church, a spiritualist church. There's many people involved with this church, I think. That's those.
I thought you were talking to Susan.
I am, but she can't answer. So
I'm sorry. I do apologize.
But there's the people making coffee. People makes people visitors feel welcome, and all these people, great spiritualists, great ambassadors for spirit as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, and there is many people, in my opinion, that the great spiritualists has never done anything with mediumship or anything.
Yeah.
They're just spiritualists because it's what they are, and in their behavior. And when I'm talking about being spiritualist, it's not just about being being a believer within spiritualism, but it's this spiritual behavior, and it's not. And it's very much about the way you live your daily life, the way you interacting with other people, and it's to me that's what makes the real spiritual person real spiritualists.
Yeah.
It's not about how good a medium you are, how many courses have you taken. Sometimes we see and hear especially in spiritual groups, oh, I have taken these and these courses, so I'm more spiritual than you. And where's the spirituality within that? So yeah, definitely. No, it's
with the right approach, spiritualism can have quite the revival now, as
Yes.
long as we can get away from
Yes.
this preponderancy that
yes,
every time we open the door, excuse me, people, I am allowed to swear because it is the end of the year, so I'll just say, oh, that happened in 2022, so it's all over with. Yeah, this preponderancy to every time you open the doors of your church and centre is to have evidential mediumship in one form or other. You know, you're putting yourself under this enormous strain. If you open 3 times a week and there's 50 weeks of the year you operate, so you've got 150 bookings to fill up. You know, why are we doing, you know, because it's all the focus on the evidence. The evidence is extremely important. I don't decry that. But what about, you know, just have I see Paynton are having a Sunday service totally dedicated to healing. Hooray!
Yeah.
Hooray! You know, you don't, I'm very pleased at Paul Church. I don't hear, and we used to hear this a lot, I won't be down next week because I don't like that medium, which translates to, I'll never get a message from them. Yeah. Or, yeah, it was all right today, but I didn't get a message. Yeah. Because people come to Paul because of the community, the welcome, the upliftment. And that is what our churches and centres need to strive for. We've got some bloke from the Midlands. Looks a bit dodgy.
Oh, him again.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's very funny. You never see Tim Abbott on Christmas Eve, do you?
No.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you, Tim.
It's always funny. He's always absent on Christmas Eve. I wonder why that is. And there's Jeanette feeding the squirrels and the reindeers. Come on, spill the truth. We know what's going on. Anyway, lovely Tim. I think sometimes mediums are so busy proving who they have with them from the spirit world, we don't get to know the individual communicator. We know certain factors, such as this is mother's name is Mary, she died of cancer, but there's truly allow us to get to know Mary. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I see mediums trip themselves up with that.
Yeah.
You know, that you've established the identity and you continue. It's sort of like, stop it. Yeah. They know who you got. Stop it. Move on.
Yeah.
Because you're now going to say one thing that sort of won't understand.
And talks into a little bit into what we talked about earlier about we know how they made us feel. Yeah, I think that's what Tim is talking into here as well, to bringing forward that presence often. I know through my own development in my earlier years, I got into this. At the cards, I heard people, I see, I want to see. So I started working on, I want to see, and then I went into I want to hear. And suddenly I realized I've actually lost that connection with spirit. I could bring all the great evidence. I could bring names, the phone numbers and things. But I missed the most important thing. Yeah. I missed the most important thing. And I think I've got that back though. But it's like, sometimes it's become so evidential, becomes so evidential that we actually miss a spirit. And I think what happens sometimes there is when we're looking so hard at the evidence, as Tim is referring to here, is that we forget the communication.
Yeah.
But sometimes we might even make a psychic reading on the communicator instead of having a chat with them.
Yeah, very true. Sometimes you get some links and they just flow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to run downstairs because we are open here at Paul today for 2 gong bars, not 1 but 2. So are you all right to carry on your own?
Oh, we can just round it off if you have 2 minutes for that.
Yeah, so I can squeeze that in. There's a couple of things in there. Quickly, Jay Williams, when do you do a circle? Well, Jay, we have a new program starting in January, as in from tomorrow, and it's available on our website and on our Facebook page. Basically, we have taken away the Wednesday afternoon services, apart from 2 healing sessions, which will remain. And we've moved our focus into the evening time. So the first Wednesday of each month will be an awareness night where the topic is all about spiritualism. And the first of those is being taken on the 2nd of January by the lovely Jack. The second Wednesday of the month will be a demonstration of evidential mediumship. The third Wednesday of each month will be open circle. So if you are learning, just as open circles are good, it's not about evidence. I never get anybody, I don't encourage people to make links to the spirit world in an open circle. An open circle to me is just to sit, be in the energy. Because sometimes you can get some people feel like they've got to produce the goods, and it's like you don't need to, it's just about sitting. And if that works and unfolds, then other circles may be available. Fourth Wednesday of the month is Spiritual Cafe Night, which is just very easy, just tables, chairs, tea, coffee and everything, and talking about wider spirituality subjects. So I hope that answers your question there, Jay. If you knock one more thing off, Kat, I'm going to come over there and knock you off.
Julie.
Damn, got the ump. Gail, very quickly, have you guys ever been on platform and someone's come through with a message, but the recipient doesn't want to hear it?
Yes.
Yes. Which is always fun.
Yeah.
But because what a lot of people don't get is, she's tracing raindrops. We are primarily working for the spirit world, not the person sat in front of us.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And then you just have to manage it best you can. It may terminate the public demonstration of it. You may have the opportunity to go up to them afterwards or whatever, but yes, it does happen. Gail, can funerals be held in spiritualist churches? Yes, they can, my darling. It's a very quick, simple answer to that. So, yes, and the spiritualists... if you could see what the cat's doing, you'd be in hysterics. A spiritualist funeral can be very uplifting and spot on. Yeah. Lovely Jan, Peyton is also having a Diwali service. Do you think it'd be possible we could have a service for Hanukkah, as all denominations are welcome and valued in the spiritualist church? This is quite a good subject, and probably a subject for a whole night, Jan, there, about the different religions and practices within our churches. And yeah, there is this feel now of a more universalist approach to a lot of our movement. What's that say?
You'll read it.
No, I can't.
You know the language. It's saying Happy New Year. I think that as a medium that have contact with spirit should take it with love.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Marianne, it is a miracle every time we connect to spirit, whether it is to bring forward a message, philosophy or healing. It is okay to bring forward joy, love and laughter, but reverence and the sacredness of what we are doing is a must, as mediums are being of service to spirit. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Marion. Anyway, I do apologise, but I've got to go.
Yes. So,
Have a
Happy New Year.
Yeah. The 2nd of January, 7 o'clock, we will stream because all these evenings are new to us. So I'm going to play around a bit. Is there value in streaming out our evenings or not, or whatever? But we will be streaming out on the 2nd at 7 p.m. BST. And Jack will be talking about the difference between a psychic reading and an evidential mediumship reading. And aided and abetted by the lovely Lola, who won't come on the camera for some reason. Not that bad. Oh, yes. Okay. Everybody, have a brilliant new year. If you're going to have a busy night tonight, wonderful. If you're going to have a quiet night, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for all the things that you bring to this church. And I'm not talking about prezzies and gifts and things. It's just your presence, your company, and your input has been great. Here's to a happy and healthy 2023 to everybody. Take care, lots of love. Tack.
Selv tak.
Send tack.
Happy New Year.
What?
Godt nytår.
Godt nytår.
Godt nytår.
Godt nytår.
Yes.
Close.
I can go and work in Denmark now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So take care of yourself out there and don't get hurt by the fireworks.
You wouldn't let me buy fireworks.
No. I've seen you with a knife. I don't want to see you with that firework.
Christmas Day, Master Chef, slice. Oh my God. Bye, everybody. Bye. Take care.
Bye.